Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Max Stack Motorsports. We're back here again with the GTI. Finally, baby, we're back. It's been a bit of a crapshoot with some weather. We had a bit of a good stretch of good weather there for a while. I was really hoping to get the car back out, but unfortunately we had some snow come in. It was really cold this past week, and I really did not feel like dragging this thing out of the sea container and getting it all fired up to come home. But yeah, it feels good. Everything's still kind of the same from storage. A bit of a mess in here, but that's the way it goes. But anyway, so today we're going to be hopefully installing our steering wheel. So we're going to put an aftermarket wheel in as long as everything goes okay. I think I should have the right tools for it. And with that, we're going to be putting our hub in. So that's the game plan for today. With the car coming back, we were planning to do a track day in the next couple weeks, but in the Toronto area, Southern Ontario, it's been really kind of difficult with the whole situation that the world is going through right now, and the track day got canceled, and yeah, it's just been kind of a pain in the ass. So but anyways, we can't let that get us down. We finally got this thing back here so we can get some more work done to it. But anyway, so the steering wheel we're gonna be putting in is an energy wheel and a Momo hub, so I will be showing you guys that stuff very shortly. But kind of to go over the basics of what we have to do. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to remove this airbag, which is fairly simple from what I've kind of researched about. This is gonna involve removing our pod. So this pod has to come back out, and I believe we have to take the cluster out. So that's kind of the first steps that we're gonna want to do. On the back of the wheel, there's like these little holes that apparently have some clips. So like a small flathead screwdriver should be able to get it done. And that will at least remove the airbag. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the garage, I'm gonna grab the tools we need, I'll grab the wheel, I'll grab the hub, I'll kind of show you all that stuff. And then, yeah, baby, we're back here. We're gonna start getting this puppy up and running. Let's go. Okay guys, so now that we're getting started here, so this is the hub we're gonna be using. So this is made by Momo, as you guys can see that. And this is the 8017. So the 8017 is the model number for it. Yeah, I know a lot of people use like Energy. Sparkle is really good as well too. There's like your like Boss style, all that stuff. But yeah, Momo hubs, me personally, I've used them on a couple of my cars, and I've always found that even though they might not look as like sleek or as short as some like the Energy ones, they always work. Like I've never had any issues with them whatsoever. And there's a lot of wheels that they'll mount up to. So just my own personal opinion on it. But yeah, so again, this is the 8017 is the model for this Momo hub that we're going to be using. And then grabbing our wheel here, we have ourselves, here it is right here. So this is just an Energy wheel. Now from the Camaro, this is the wheel that was in there. I really love this wheel. It's got your felt, or your suede, sorry, that that's wrapped around it, and then you have yourself your little, like, whatever you guys want to call it, your drift stripe, or just your center line and whatnot. But yeah, very basic wheel from Energy. When I sold the Camaro, or when I parted out, this was one thing that I really wanted to keep. And very similar to the wheel that's on the RX-7. You can kind of see, there you guys go. Yeah, it's not much of a deep dish. It's got a good offset, but nothing too wild. And as far as, oh wow, look at that. So as far as the actual diameter, it's almost exactly the same as our stock GTI wheel right here. So I'm really looking forward to putting this thing on. It's for some reason one of the few things that I've bought for my cars that I actually really enjoy. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And then we have ourselves, just so you guys can see here, there's our little horn button, and then this little piece right there, which kind of goes over top of that, kind of gives it that nice little flush look. So yeah, so that's our stuff we're going to be using. So let's start getting this thing taken apart. Again, we're going to start by taking off the pod here. Very similar to the way that I installed it, guys. There's a little clip. Let's see if I can give you guys a better look. So very similar. There's a clip that's in here. You're going to want to pop it off. Now, you guys know that I have my boost wiring in there. My boost line runs through there as well. So if you do have the pod already installed, like, just be careful with it. You don't want to mess anything up that you just did, right, or you did previously. So yeah, let's get this bad boy off, and then we're going to work on getting the cluster out, which will give us more access to the clips that are on the back of our steering wheel. Another thing I should mention, guys, as you're doing this, as always, just make sure that your battery is disconnected. Last summer, I don't think this thing had the battery connected once unless I was driving it. So it's just kind of ingrained in my head that you know what I mean, always disconnect my battery. I kind of always forget to mention it, but yeah, you're going to want to do that, especially when you're dealing with this airbag. So once that is out, then you're going to want to take off our little cluster here, so you can kind of see them. There's one there and there's one there, and those I think are T20s or T30s, the Torx, your Torx bits. So these fancy little fellers right here, that's a T30, and then where's my T20? Did I bring it? Oh, I might have to go back in the garage and grab it. Oh, never mind, it's right there. Okay, so yeah, so you're gonna want to take those two little screws out, and then you can remove that cluster. Don't forget also, there are clips on the back of it. You're gonna want your keys. Again, the battery should be disconnected, but you're gonna want your keys in there to at least unlock your steering wheel, so that when we do rotate it, obviously it makes it a lot easier and doesn't lock into place. Okay guys, so yeah, we got those little T20 screws out. So as you can see, this cluster is nice and free now. Again, you're gonna have some sort of connections on the back. It should be just like little connectors that are, you know, I mean, driving your tack and speedo and whatnot. So don't yank on it. Obviously, just try it and kind of get it out a bit, and then undo those clips. Doing this now, I really wish that I did all the boost gauge stuff after, because I'm gonna have to have this sitting here, which, you know, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I'm not too fond of my my silicone hose here being kind of stretched out. But unfortunately, that's the way it kind of is. So yeah, we're gonna get this baby out here, and then as you can see, so I have the wheel cranked pretty much all the way to the left here. There is, let's see if you guys can see it. Where are you? So right here, you can see that hole. I think you guys can see it. Yes, you can. Okay, so right there, there's a hole, and on the other side of the steering wheel here, there's one. Like, yeah, I can feel it right on the bottom. There's a hole there as well. So again, you're gonna want to go and grab. I got a flathead screwdriver. This should be more than enough, hopefully. And you're gonna want to put this screwdriver into that hole. And then there's kind of like a metal retaining clip type of thing that you're gonna want to kind of pry off, which will then release this section over here and this section over here, which will allow us to take the airbag off. Again, once you guys do the airbag, don't yank on it because it will have wiring attached to it. You're gonna want to take your time with that, and as it comes off, you can take off the connection, if that makes any sense. Okay guys, so there you go. There's our cluster that's out. Just to kind of show you guys a bit of a tip. So again, you're gonna have these connectors at the back. There's one there, one's blue, or one's blue, as you can see now, and one is green. And yeah, if it does help you guys, the green one goes behind the speedometer and the blue one will go behind the tack. And there you go, you can even see that on the back. But anyways, just so you guys don't break the clips, because they are a bit of a nuisance, you're gonna have these little purple clips. And what you're gonna do, most MK4 guys should know this, but if you're kind of new to the scene, you're gonna want to, you can kind of see how it's like this. So you're gonna want to push down. Sorry guys, a little tough here right now. There we go. So you're gonna want to push down on this, and then this little purple piece will kind of go like that, and then that will kind of, like, as you're pushing this purple piece up, it will pry the actual connection out. So don't reef on it. Again, this is plastic from like the early 2000s, so it is pretty damn brittle. And you know, I mean, I'm one of those people that, you know, I mean, if something plastic breaks, like a clip or whatever, like, I stress about it so much because I don't want it to come out. But yeah, so there you go. The blue one on the left side, and the green one is on the right side. And then for now, we can kind of just tuck these away. Gotta keep them out of the way for now, because eventually we're going to be putting our screwdriver in. So if you see how much more room we have now, perfect. Again, this thing is stretched straight out and lowered as much as possible with the tilt steering. But yeah, so we're gonna put that right in there. Another thing that you guys can do to give you guys a bit more clearance or help in any way is you can kind of see this little screw. There it is. You can't, I won't really focus in, but anyways, there's two little holes here at the bottom of your steering column. So there's one right there, and you can see obviously where the other one is here. So I'm just using kind of like a skinny Phillips screwdriver right here. Anyways, if you put this into the hole and all the way up, you'll see that screw, those two little tiny Phillips screws. So here's one already right there. So yeah, so you can take these guys out, which will kind of help you pop the top of the steering column up here, which will allow you to have a little bit more leverage. I'm finding right now that it's kind of hard to get the back of the airbag to come off. So what I ended up grabbing was a smaller screwdriver right here. So you can see the original one I had was this guy right there. It was having a hard time fitting in there. So yeah, I grabbed a bit of a skinnier one. But anyways, just kind of another tip as we're going along here. I'm kind of learning this as I'm doing it, which is kind of the way that I like to do it. You know what I mean? I got to be able to do this on the track or whatever. Any way I can learn to work on this car, it helps, right? But anyways, without getting too off topic here, again, you're going to want to just put your screwdriver through here, nice Phillips one, and that will allow you to kind of pop this off, which will allow you to have a lot more leverage at the back. There we go. So there's our airbag is out. It is a little finicky to do. I kind of messed around with all the screwdrivers that I had, but once I was able to get these clips out, it makes a huge difference, as you can see. So there's the back of it. So again, these things kind of go in to here, and you're going to want to move these clips around from the back. It is a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. It did take a bit of time, but yeah, I'm happy that I got it out. So anyways, we're just going to put this to the side, somewhere safe. We're not going to mess around with it. Again, I'm going to want to try to keep this in the best condition as I can to try to keep all my OEM stuff. But yeah, anyways, after we're done that, we're going to want to take this little centerpiece out right here. So this was the only thing I was a little nervous about going into it, just to see if I have the right sort of socket for it. I don't know if a Torx one is going to fit in there. I might need a special tool. So we'll see how that goes. If not, you know, I might have to order one, but that's the way it is. But yeah, we're going to want to take this off. Again, like taking every steering wheel out, once you kind of loosen your center nut here, you just want to bring it out a little bit, and then you want to loosen your steering wheel. Because the last thing you want to do is take this thing out, and then you're reefing on this thing right here, and you smack yourself in the face. So yeah, let's see if I can find a way to break this loose, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, so as you can see, so I had the wheel like completely centered. It's just, you know, when you start reefing on it, it's gonna want to move, right? So I'm doing this by myself. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but that's the way it goes. So right now the steering wheel is locked. We'll have to put the key back in to unlock it. But actually, so what I have here, this is a T55. So T55 Torx. Fits in there perfectly. It doesn't, like even just looking at it right now, it's not stripping it or anything. So this is, as far as right, for what I can see here, this is a good enough socket to use. Now, just because I'm doing it doesn't mean it's the right way. It's just the way that I have it working right now. But you can go online and you can order this type of spline on a socket. So yeah, I'm sure you can find them on like Amazon or Princess Auto or Canadian Tire or whatever, but as of right now, a T55 Torx will work on it. And again, guys, you're going to want to just take your time with it. This is a steering wheel, as you guys can see. So this center bolt here is going to be insanely tight for what it is. It's a major part of the car, as you guys know. So just take your time with it. Again, if you have someone else that can kind of hold the steering wheel as you're doing it, it makes a huge difference. You can see here, see how I have the steering wheel nice and loose there. So I don't need a steering wheel puller, which is great. Again, this thing is loose enough just so I can move the steering wheel around. And what's going to happen now is when I remove this, then the steering wheel should slide off no problem. Okay guys, so now we're down to our basics here. So what we're looking at right now is we have our wiring for our airbag, as well as these are the horn wirings, or the wiring for the horn. That's probably the better English to use. But anyway, so when you take off, your old steering wheel right here, you just gotta kind of take like that little, where's that little screwdriver I just had? So this guy right here. So I just pretty much use this. You can kind of see that little kind of square right there. That's where this guy was. So I'm assuming this is the negative. Yeah, it's black. So the negative from the horn. So you're just going to want to just lightly pry it. Again, this is old stuff from the early 2000s. So you just don't want to bend it or break it and all that stuff. And then this one was pretty basic. There was, oh, there it is right there. So that little spot right there, this is like just your basic connection, that your spade connection. It'll just kind of pop right off. And then you can feed everything through the wheel. And then now we have our horn connection ready to go, and then our airbag connection right here. So here's our Momo hub right here. Again, guys, it's not the most like stylish hub you can get. Like, I know Energy looks a lot better, but again, I like stuff that works, and I've had no issues ever using a Momo hub. Very similar to what the Sparkle hub is as well. So yeah, you can kind of see how it's all kind of put together here. Similar to the RX-7 one, this is our little bracket for what the horn's going to be attached to help with our horn. And then we have ourselves our bull pattern here for our wheel. And then if you look right here, it says top, so obviously this is where the top of your hub is going to sit, like that, as I got stuff falling down. And then again, we're going to have a nice shield here. So this thing has like kind of like a nice dust cover, and then our hub itself. So I mean, fairly well constructed, pretty basic stuff. The one thing I do actually like about this hub is you can see these holes. So this is for your turn cancellation signal. I'm just going to kind of line it up so you can see that I have all the wiring at the top. This little palm thing here, just because the writing looks normal at the bottom, I'm going to be doing that. And then not only for that sake am I going to have that lined up, but if you look on the hub, you see that gap right there? So that is where your wiring is going to go into. And it also corresponds with the top. So like pretty basic, guys. This thing is going to sit like that. And then let me just adjust the camera here. There you go. So you can kind of see the hole on the top. So your wiring's going to come in from there through that little top hole and out. And then you can see the splines. You can see the splines on the hub. That is obviously going to sit on the shaft. Now digging deeper into it, there it is right there. So it does come with the wiring needed. There is your little 2-amp fuse. So these little connections are going to go into your airbag right here. And then we have all the connections needed for our horn. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to kind of get this set up. I'm going to go grab some electrical tape, try to isolate all my connections. I tend to do that with everything I do anyways. And that way it's nice and safe and there's no shorts. So yeah, let me go grab that stuff, and then we're going to start mounting up our Momo hub. Okay guys, so as you guys are going along here, you have to really take note of what wheel you have and the connections that it requires. So for example, you can kind of see how Momo has provided me with 4 kind of connection wires here in total, but they all have different applications. So if you take a look at the horn from Energy, you can kind of see that the positive, the yellow one here, has a spade, and then it has a female connection here on this side. But if you look at the connections I got from Momo, sorry, I know the area is not the best here to show you guys, but so this guy right here, so this is the negative one. It's got a female on one side and a male on the other. This one has 2 females. And then the other positive one here, pretty much the same as the other one. It's got a female on one side and a male on the other side. So yeah, as the horn goes here, like if I was to put the 2 females for the negative, yeah, it'll work for sure on the MK4 side, but as far as the energy side, I can't, like, that connection doesn't work. So before you go through all the connections, make sure you have the right wire. Now for this little kind of bendy piece here, it is kind of a pain to get it to connect with the female. Now you could probably kind of bend that U out or cut it, but I wouldn't personally recommend it, especially if you ever plan on going back to your stock steering wheel if you want to resell the car or whatever, right? But yeah, so what I've done is kind of, I won't really focus that much, but you can kind of see that little square piece there. You see how that kind of pries up? It's like that on the other side, but you're gonna have to want to like flatten it out so it actually fits in here perfectly. So yeah, so another just tip there to kind of help you guys. Now again, this is an energy wheel. It might be totally different for a Momo wheel. It might be different for a Grip Royal wheel. It could be different for really any wheel. So just kind of take notes as you go. And then again, you're going to want to just kind of do your connections here and then tape them. I would like to actually heat shrink them too, but again, then I'm going to have to cut when I want to take the wheel off. So yeah, you can see here the resistance for our airbag is done. So the 2 amp fuse, and then you just kind of put those prongs into this sensor here. You can put whatever prong you want into whatever side, it doesn't matter, as it just kind of completes the circuit, and then it just acts as a resistance for the airbag light. Yeah, we got everything all ready to go. So what we're going to do again is we're just going to reset our cancellation turn signal sensor here so that it is the way that it's supposed to be. You can kind of see here it's starting to go by itself just because of all the weight from the wiring here. But again, so we're going to want to straighten this up, and then we're going to grab our hub and we're going to slide everything through there and then mount it with our center nut, which is this guy. Now there is some blue Loctite on here already. I don't know, it's pretty dry. I might top mine up just to be safe, but yeah, so you can see that. Again, you're going to want to make this nice and tight. I'm sure there's some sort of torque specs that might be done to it, so you might want to just kind of Google that. All right, so we have our hub mounted. So as you guys can see, there's all the wiring. It kind of goes through that little hole I mentioned above. Again, guys, there are little holes on the back of this hub for the steering, the cancellation sensor there. So those little like black little nubs that come off, remember, they're gonna go into these holes. So make sure you're perfectly lined up. And then I did go with a little bit more blue Loctite just on our little center nut here, just because, you know, I mean, from the factory I had a little bit on it, so I just wanted to kind of do what Volkswagen designed it to be. And then I torqued it down to 36 foot-pounds, which seems to be the general torque spec for these steering wheel hub bolts, nuts, or whatever here. So yeah, we got this thing mounted. Actually, it looks pretty good. Sits nice. Again, guys, don't forget you have yourself, this is your little dust cover, so that's going to sit on top. Okay, so there we go. We're getting there. Again, I didn't have to use this little guy here. Now, probably going to find out the hard way if I did it right or wrong, but just looking at those connections, everything seemed pretty legit. Like I haven't obviously tightened everything up all the way, and there's no battery connected, right? But yeah, so far, look at that, guys. I think it looks so good. The whole length of this, like if you can see that, that's about what, maybe 3.5, 4 inches maybe, is the length of that hub. So just to kind of give you guys some perspective on everything, but so far, like, it looks so sick. I love that. A little drift wheel on a front wheel drive little hatchback, but it looks pretty good. So yeah, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna tighten everything up. You can see like the nice gold rivets here, which I like because it kind of matches the whole center stripe here. But yeah, I'm just gonna tighten these up, probably put the battery back on, and then we'll see if the horn works. Everything goes as planned, then I'm gonna start putting everything back together, and then that'll be our wheel done. All right, so I did give the horn a test, and everything works, guys. So yeah, perfect. I'm so happy about that. Yeah, again, for kind of like putting everything back together, it's pretty basic. You know, I'm just gonna tighten these up, go into a nice kind of like star pattern. That way, you know, I mean, the pressure is kind of evenly spread around. And then I'll be tossing on where to go. I don't know where it is. You know how it is, guys. You take something off and then you don't know where it is. But anyways, put the cover back on here, and then I'll be tossing my gauge pod back onto where it is. Don't forget, guys, to put your cluster in with those two T20 kind of screws. They go right there. And then your connections. Yeah, thanks a lot again, guys, for watching that video. If you guys have any questions, don't forget you can subscribe, you can comment. Any criticism you guys have is greatly appreciated. I know some of these videos are a little long and the speech is a little off, but yeah, really appreciate it. Make sure you check out Max Attack Motorsports on Instagram, and yeah, I hope to see you guys soon.